Hey, wealth builders, and welcome back to the Bemused, where we are helping you guys with all things money. And we are so excited today to have Marques and Shyra on the show today, otherwise known as Black, Married, and Debt Free on the internet. So we're excited to have you guys on. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us on. We're excited to be on with you.
Yeah, we are definitely excited about this conversation.
Yes, as are we. So let's jump right into it. And one of the reasons why we were really excited to have you guys on is, of course, there are some obvious similarities. We are also Black and married, definitely not debt free, as our followers know, but we are we are getting there. We are on our debt pay down journey as well. And so I'd like to talk a little bit about your journey. You know, debt payoff is one of the kind of big tenets of your brand and your story and your journey. So tell us a little bit more about your philosophy on debt, more about your debt payoff journey and why it is something or a financial goal that was so important to you.
Yes, paying off debt was a huge accomplishment for us, and we found that it was very, very important. We've been married for almost 15 years, and when we started our marriage off back in the early 2000s, we didn't know a lot about money. I came into the marriage with debt. Marques came into the marriage with debt, and together we continued to go into more debt, and we got to a point in our marriage where we kind of hit a financial rock bottom. And it was really during that time where we said, we need to put our heads together and let's figure out a way to get out of this mess that we created together. And so we both remember the day, we had a very, tough conversation, but we were able to devise a plan. The first plan was okay, how are we going to survive? Because we got to a place where our income was lower than the amount of bills that we owed. So it's like, okay, we need to go into survival mode. Let's figure out how to survive. And once we figured that out, we came up with a couple of strategies to increase our income over time. And as we began to work those strategies and we reached a point where we had a little bit of extra income, we said, let's focus in on our debt. Let's avoid lifestyle creep. Let's avoid getting a new car, or at the time for us, setting up a nursery. Let's avoid all of that, and let's throw our extra income onto our debt. And so if you're familiar with our story, you know that we were able to pay off a 6-figure debt in about 2.5 years. And here we are today.
Yeah, and I mean, us paying off that debt has been instrumental in our wealth building journey.
Yes.
It's kind of like the foundation. And what we've realized is when you pay off your debt, you have more to use to create wealth. And so that's the phase that we're in now. And we're really excited. And paying off our debt was like instrumental in where we are right now.
Yeah, great. Thanks for sharing that. And congratulations on the 15 years of marriage, by the way, as well.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, you guys, age-wise, you guys don't look a day over, I don't even know what. I'm like 15 years. You don't look old enough to be married 15 years.
Yeah.
We're very young.
Yeah. Hopefully we look as good as you all when we get to our 15-year mark. We're just at year 1, so.
Oh, man. Congrats on that.
Congrats.
Thank you.
So we wanted to know how you guys got started sharing your personal finance journey online. We know that it's definitely not the most conventional thing for most people to do, sharing their numbers and being so vulnerable. So we wanted to know how you got started.
Yes.
Well, I think I kind of forced this on Shyra, but we paid off our debt. We didn't document anything along the journey. But once we did it, we wanted to kind of share our wins. We were thinking maybe there's some other couples out there that may want to hear this. We had no idea that this community was so robust and so,
right.
Plentiful with Black couples that have done this. But we just thought, hey, let's just turn the camera on and let's do a YouTube video. I actually have the first video we ever did. The exposure blew out. It was just terribly shot.
It's still up on YouTube.
Yeah, it's still up on YouTube. And I was just like, let's just turn the camera on, and if we like it, cool. If we don't, then we'll never do this again.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of caught we got the bug, and we just kept doing it and kept recording. And before you know it, we started to see how it was impacting others. And so that just kind of gave us a motivation and was like, okay, well, let's keep doing this,
Right.
And so I'm a creative person, so I love editing and filming and, music and all that stuff. And that was a place for me to do all of that, So that's kind of how it started.
Yeah, it was kind of like an experiment.
Yeah.
And honestly, we're still on this ride. We're not full-time YouTubers. We go to work, we go Monday through Friday, we're still on the grind. And but we really enjoy being able to share our story, and then to also be able to talk to other wonderful couples such as yourself. So it has been such a great experience for us on that front.
Awesome.
Yeah, awesome. So we know that increasing and diversifying income is an important part of your financial journey. And we know that you published a video about a year or so talking about your 8 streams of income. So we wanted to know, what does that look like today? Are you still currently at 8, streams of income, or has it increased to 15 or something like that?
Oh my goodness. That's a great question.
Yeah.
We should have wrote everything down, but yeah, you're right. Building streams of income, passive and active, are really important, and they have helped us tremendously in being able to build wealth, because we're average American income earners, and that's great, but our incomes from our 9-to-5 jobs did not afford us the ability to do all the things that we desired to do. So yes, we are still working those 8, and there are probably a few more. You want to talk about the things we've tried over the years?
Oh yeah, we tried. Yeah, we tried some of everything. Like we called it our hustle season.
Yes.
But we've tried, wholesaling mobile homes. We've tried wholesaling single family homes. We've tried. I started a clothing company. I do music, so that's I've been able to create multiple streams out of just
one gift, one talent.
And so, we're always looking for ways to do that. But one thing that we're transitioning into is, and we've always had this at the forefront, but how many passive income streams can we create? Because time is like our most precious, valuable thing. So we want to be able to, kind of move away from the income stream that, require time, and move more into passive income streams. So we still have, I think we might be close to double digits.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, that video was really cool. We never thought that would be a video that would get as many views as it did.
I have no idea how that happened.
It's always the ones you don't suspect, right? It's in our experience too.
Right. I was like, why this one?
Right.
Why this one? I think that someone may have shared it on Instagram. And they didn't give us credit. Yes, I'm throwing shade. And then I think people funneled to YouTube, but yeah, Marcus is right. Also we do coaching. We did a meetup where we charged an entrance fee to the meetup, but I did feed them. So, paid off.
Right. Courses.
Courses,
webinars,
speaking, which is great. More that you put yourself out there. And then they say if you talk about something for 10,000 hours, then you're an expert. So even when you're making YouTube videos or you're talking to your friends and your family, you're gaining your expert hours, whether it's on finance or some other topic. So yeah, just over time, we've had some opportunities, but we're still on this journey. We're still on this journey, and what Marcus said, using that income and putting those into assets that would create passive streams of income for us later on, and even now. So that could be us investing in our 401k, our 403bs that are offered through our employer, and then also real estate. And so that's something that we're very passionate about, and have just we have dove head first into that.
That is awesome. Yeah, I know I heard, I think in that same video, you said something, Shyra, that really stuck out to me, which was, financial freedom isn't necessarily all about debt freedom. It's about passive income. And I'm like, that's absolutely, absolutely right. And so I definitely resonate with that. And we're on our hustle season too, trying to build our streams of passive income as well.
So. At the same time, I'm like, 8 streams or plus. I'm like, do you guys sleep? Because we're struggling with the couple that we've been trying to, get going.
Yeah, I would discount that though, because I feel like within one umbrella we have 4 income streams under that same umbrella. You know what I'm saying? So it's under one brand. You have speaking, you have courses, you have things like that. So it's really great, especially like you said, when one kind of gift and one talent can create room for you in so many different areas. So that's
right. And I want to go back to something that you mentioned that I said in that video. One of the most profound things for us, when we paid off all of our debt, we felt really great. We were living in a condo at the time, and we even paid that off. So we felt excellent. But as far as quality of life, I still had to get up the next day and go to work and be stuck in that traffic. You know what I'm saying? So like, you're still getting up and going to work every single day. And unless you create passive streams of income, you might have to work for the rest of your life, you know? So you really have to, at some point, start focusing in on investing, you know, so that you can, you know, have an opportunity to get, you know, out of the rat race, so to speak.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that message because I feel like a lot of people who, you know, preach debt freedom and their focus is so much on debt freedom that they don't really pay attention to exactly what you just said and to other areas, you know, of personal finance. Like, you pay off your debt and it's like, now what? You know, like, now what? So I really appreciate, you know, that perspective from you all as well. And so, speaking about money management, you mentioned you've been married for 15 years. How has it been over those 15 plus years, I suppose, you know, managing money as a couple? Tell us more about that, kind of your strategies, maybe tips for other people who are trying to get on the same page with their partner about money.
Yeah, maybe we'll tag team this one. You know, as I was hinting when we first got married, we didn't manage money. Like, what was that? You know, Marcus, you know, he kind of oversaw the finances. He was a steward of that. And if I wanted something, I would just say, hey, Marcus, can I get whatever it was? And he would say, yeah, there's more than enough, you know? And so that's whatever that is, you know? So that was just that went on for a few years until all of a sudden it didn't work. And so, you want me to throw you the ball?
Yeah, for me, it's like, so I was raised in a very traditional household, you know, grew up in church and stuff like that. So it's like, the man is the you know, he's the head and everything. He's supposed to take care of everything. He's supposed to go out and kill the food, and you bring it home to the wife and she, you know, fries it up and all this. So we were kind of like, we're young, but we're kind of like both raised in that kind of environment. Mm-hmm. So we tried that, right? You know, or our best version of that, where, hey, I'm in charge of the money. You know, I'm managing the money. I'm making the money, you know. Meanwhile, she's working too. So look at how dumb that philosophy is. But anyway, so I was just mismanaging the money. Let's just be honest. And so she would say, can we afford to get this? And I didn't want to tell her no. So I would just say, yeah, we got more than enough. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I got to go hustle to get this money because I just told her she can have X, Y, Z. And so that was my mentality until I just couldn't do it anymore. And so that's when we had our financial rock bottom and eventually, you know, decided to pay off our debt and everything. But that was our philosophy at first. There really was no philosophy, just kind of winging it. And so it wasn't until we hit our rock bottom, climbed ourselves out of our debt, then we started to manage the money collectively. Mm-hmm. Because let's be honest, we're both working. So, you know, why would one person only have one say over all the money when it's a collective, you know, thing to get the money? So now we manage it together, you know, and there's open communication about the accounts. We share our accounts. We do have separate, you know, retirements, but we have retirements together. And even in the separate retirement accounts, we both have access to all the information. So there's complete transparency, and we feel like that has worked best for us, you know, and so that's kind of how we manage our finances currently.
Yeah, and I will say that once you have a budget in place and you have certain like parameters, you know, like one thing for us is we would go to work and we like to eat out, but we put a cap on how much we would eat out. So each week we would have a dollar amount, and we needed to stay within that dollar amount. But I wasn't checking up on him, and he wasn't checking up on me. We had that trust that, you know, you got $30 or whatever it was for the week. And if you go over $1, like, it's okay. No one's in trouble, you know, but let's do our best to be good stewards over what we have. And the other thing is we automate a lot of our bills. You know, we don't have a weekly money meeting because money doesn't need to be the center of our relationship. We're raising children. We have careers. There's so much more. We want to enjoy each other, you know? So once you have your spending plan in place or you have your budget in place, leave it alone for a while because you don't want to talk about money all the time. Mm-hmm. You know, I just think that it's healthy to talk about money, but you get your plan and work your plan and live life.
Yeah, and we're lucky enough to be on the same page, on the same wavelength. You know, there may be some couples out there. It's like, well, one is really adhering to the program, and the other one is kind of flailing and needs to be reeled in. So everyone's different, but for us, we're both on the same wavelength, so we don't have to continuously, beat a dead horse and do budget meetings and this and that, because it's in our DNA now, and that's what I like to say. Once it gets in your DNA as a couple, you don't need a budget, per se, written out that you're checking in on, and really, hard and fast rules, because your DNA is determining, okay, we don't spend crazy on this. Your taste change, I like to say. So that's kind of where we are now.
Right. It's like being on a diet, over time you learn healthy habits, and then you incorporate those habits into your life. So now it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like a diet, so that's what you want to get to a place with your money, that, you're building healthy financial habits, so it doesn't feel like such a restriction. And go from there.
Yeah, I love it. You guys have definitely been dropping a whole bunch of gems. Love everything that you've been saying. I really like the part that you mentioned about, the budgeting, putting in the things that you like and that you love. And that's something that we really live by, because we find that cutting things off cold turkey really just doesn't work. Like if you've been going to Starbucks every day or wherever to buy your coffee, trying to cut it off, and you will relapse more than likely. So how about you say, well, I'm going to do it twice a week or 3 times a week. We can afford that. So really, like I said, really enjoyed those comments.
Yes, and before we go, I have one last question for you. So, of course, we are here. It's New Year's season. People are probably putting together some resolutions, some goals for 2022. What tips would you have for people going into the new year with regard to their finances? What should they be checking up on, and what should they be thinking about?
Yeah, I think that going into the new year, one thing that we like to do is we like to do a net worth statement, so we can see where we are in terms of that. So it's looking at all of the things that you own, and then how much you owe on those items, and subtracting, the difference. So your assets and your liabilities, your assets subtract your liability, that equals, the net worth. So we like to do that. And when you're paying down debt, your net worth is going up, so those are things to celebrate. So take a look at your net worth. Also be thinking about your short-term and your long-term goals, and the things that you are prepared to do in order to reach those goals. Now might be a good time to look at your finances, do a cash flow statement, what's coming in and what needs to go out. So that's a good thing to take a look at. Maybe you do an analysis of your budget. And when you do that, go through each item line by line. Is it a need? Is it a want? Keep some wants in there, but if you have too many wants, maybe you want to cut back if that is keeping you from being able to reach some of your short-term and your long-term goals. So I think that at the beginning of the year, it's really great to go back to the basics. Just go back to the basics. And then also keep in mind that with the pandemic, a lot of families have been receiving additional food assistance. They've been receiving the child tax credit. If you have children of a certain age, you've been getting those $500 payments every month if you didn't opt out of them. So those payments are going to stop in January. And then also your student loan repayment. If you have student loans that are coming up, the repayment on those are going to be starting, January 31st. So for some people, you've had time to build up your finances, but some bills that you haven't had in the last couple of months are coming back. Some income that you've had is going away. So we need to start thinking about those things and how we might make adjustments so that we can be successful in 2022.
Yeah, and I think for me, my message is consistency. I'm getting a little bit older, all right, and my shape is not like how I want it to be. So
you look good.
Thank you, Chad. So I started trying to do some more consistent workouts and things at home. And I'm like, man, I'm not seeing any change. But my mentality going forward on anything that I do, and I said this on the Instagram post, is 5 to 10 years. Any investment I'm making, if that's I want to pay my debt off, or I want to see change as I invest my money, or I want to, any goal that I have, let's stop doing it for the results and just be consistent in the progress. And I think
you'll get the result.
You'll get the result as long as you continue doing what you're doing. If you put away $1 a day, you're going to see a result at year whatever. If you put $20 a day away, anything you do, as long as you're consistent, you will see results. And so that's my message to anyone. Whatever your goal is, keep doing it. Don't do it for the result, but just make consistent progress.
Right. That's good.
Thank you.
I like that.
I agree. And with that, let everyone who's watching or listening know where they can keep up with you and find you on the internet.
Cool. Yeah, so if you want to check us out, we're pretty active on Instagram at Black Married Debt Free. And then we're really active on YouTube, Black Married Debt Free. And we also have a podcast, the Black Married and Debt Free podcast, available on any podcast outlet. So that's the best way to reach us. And then, of course, you can find all of that on our website, blackmarrieddebtfree.com. So check us out.
Wonderful. Well, Marques and Shyra, thank you so much again for joining us today. This has been a really fun conversation. I'm sure our audience will get a lot of value out of it. So thanks again, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell so you never miss when we post new content. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.